Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see the daily current affairs of August 16. So today we are going to discuss the topics of PM calls for secular civil code in Independence Day speech. So which comes under GS2 paper under Indian polity. Next, digital platform driven by drone mapping to revive solar power scheme, which comes under GS2 under governance paper. Next, Indian astronomers find new method to predict amplitude to the next solar cycle, which comes under GS1 under geography. Next, center launches new AI based surveillance system to manage pets, which comes under GS2 paper, Indian polity and the constitution. Next, tantalum. So in this we have to know about this term. Next, editorial analysis, and finally the international organization topic we are going to discuss. So in this, our first topic is about PM calls for secular civil code in Independence Day speech. So we have to know why it is in news first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted the need of secular civil code as opposed to the term of uniform civil code. So the shift in terminology underscores a nuanced approach to integrating diverse personal laws within a secular framework aiming to unify legal standards while respecting religious diversities. As secular civil code, we have to know about this first. The secular civil code refers to a set of laws that governs personal matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, and maintenance uniformly for all citizens, irrespective of their religion, but is framed within a secular, non-religious context. It aims to create a common legal standard while maintaining respect for diverse religious practice and belief. Next, the Uniform Civil Code. The UCC proposes a common set of laws for all citizens, regardless of their religion, covering matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, succession, and adoption. The Uniform Civil Code is mentioned in Part 4 of the Constitution, which states that the government shall endeavor to secure for the citizen a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. This Uniform Civil Code is a part of Directive Principle of State Policy, that is DPSP, which are not enforceable by law but are fundamentally to the country's governance. Next, we have to know about the Supreme Court views here. The Supreme Court has called the implementation of the UCC in several judgments, such as in 1985 Ahmad Khan versus Shah Banu Begum case, where a divorced Muslim woman sought maintenance from her ex-husband. The court highlighted the need for the UCC while deciding whether the CRPC or Muslim personal law should prevail. Next, the court also urged the government to implement the UCC in the 1995 Sarla Mudal case and 2019 Paulo Coutinho versus Maria Lucia Valentina Pereira case. Next, currently, the UCC is only implemented in Goa while a bill is under consideration in Uttarakhand. Next, what are the comparison of secular and uniform civil laws here? First, we'll be seeing the secular civil code. In this, first we have inclusivity, flexibility, and finally their objective. So in inclusivity, it is designed to respect religious diversity while establishing a common legal framework. Next, flexibility. It may allow for religious specific practice in certain contexts but ensures that core aspects of personal law are consistent across all religions. Next, its objective. It focuses on maintaining secularism in law while harmonizing practices in personal matters. Next, uniform civil laws. So it has standardization. So in standardization, it proposes a common set of laws that completely replaces religious personal laws with a single legal code applicable to all citizens. Next, uniformity. So it seeks to eliminate religious distinctions in legal matters, promoting a single legal standard. Next, the objective. It aims for complete legal uniformity to ensure equality before the law. So the next is We'll have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2012. Consider the following previous under the direct principles of state policy as enshrined in the Constitution of India. Securing for citizens of India a uniform civil code, organizing village panchayats, promoting cottage industries in rural areas, securing for all workers reasonable leisure and cultural opportunities. So which of the above are Gandhian principles that are reflected in the directive principles of state policy? Here the answer is B. 2 and 3 are correct. Only these two statements are correct. Her next topic is about digital platform driven by drone mapping to revive solar power scheme. So first we have to know about the news. The PM Kushum scheme aims to enhance solar energy in setting agriculture up solar power plants and pumps. However, delays and challenges such as land availability have impeded progress. Innovative solutions like drone technology and digital platforms are being used to address these issues. An advanced scheme. So with this we have to know about PM Kushum. So first the scheme have been launched in 2019 for farm sector de-isolation and increasing farmer income. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy have been nodal ministry of this one. Next, their objective is to enhance energy security and meet India's 2030 target of 40% of non-fossil fuel power capacity. It aims to add 34,800 megawatts solar capacity by March 2026. So, total central financial support is rupees 34,422 crore. Up to 30% or 50% subsidiary for standalone solar pumps and solarization of grid connected pumps. Also, it allows installation of up to 2 megawatt solar plants on barren or fallow land. Their components are it have two components such as A and C. In A, it have 10,000 megawatts via small solar power plants up to 2 megawatts. Next, component B, we have 20 lakh standalone solar pumps for off-grid areas. Next, component C has solarization of 15 lakh grid connected pumps. So, totally it has three components. Also, individual farmers groups, FPOs, panchayat, cooperatives and water user associations also eligible entities here. Next, what are all the introduction to PM Kushum and its objective? The Pradhan Mantri Kishan Urjan Suraksha Evam Udhan Mahabhiyan, that is called as PM Kushan scheme, was launched to bolster solar energy infrastructure in agriculture, aiming to set up 100 gigawatt of solar power plants on farmer owned land, install 14 lakh solar pumps and solarize 35 lakh grid connected agriculture pumps. As of June 2024, progress has been slow with only 256 megawatts of power plants, 3.97 lakh solar pumps and 13,500 solarized pumps installed, leading to deadline extension to 2026. Now, what are the challenges in implementation? A major challenge is in availability of suitable land for solar power projects, particularly in agricultural regions where finding contiguous parcels of land is difficult. Unlike states like Gujarat and Rajasthan, which have vast tracts of uncultivable land, agricultural areas struggle to pull together land for large-scale solar projects. Now, what are the innovative approaches that is drone technology and digital platforms? So, Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet, that is GEAPP, is collaborating with the Rajasthan government to develop a digital platform that uses drone technology to map and parcels, enhancing the efficiency of land identification for solar projects. Next, the digital approach allows real-time tracking of the scheme progress, enabling prompt corrective actions and providing oversight critical for large-scale solar deployment. Now, what is the success in Rajasthan and future plans? Rajasthan has emerged as a leader in PM Kusham scheme with 12.3 megawatt of solar capacity already installed and plans to reach 100 megawatts by 2024. So, farmers who lease their land for solar modules receive rent payments linked to market rates, ensuring their fair compensation. Finally, the Rajasthan has installed nearly 200 megawatt and of the 256 megawatt installed nationally, setting an example for other states. The use of digital solutions and on-ground support by GEAPP is pivotal in overcoming challenges and achieving renewable energy targets under the PM Kusum scheme. So with this, we have the prelims question which have been asked in previous year 2015 with reference to Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited, that is IREDA. Which of the following statement is correct? So it is public limited government company. It is a non-banking financial company. Select the correct answer using given code below. Here the answer is C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. So our next topic is about Indian astronomers find new method to predict amplitude of next solar cycle. So why it is in news? Astronomers from the Indian Institute of Astrophysics have made a breakthrough in solar cycle forecasting using a new method. By analyzing 100 years of data, they discovered that the width of supergranular cells during a solar minimum is linked to sunspot numbers in a subsequent solar maximum, improving space weather predictions. These astronomers of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, that is IIA, has developed a new method to predict solar cycle amplitude and improve space water forecasting. This research, based on 100 years of solar data from the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, reveals the new correlation. Space weather influenced by solar wind, coronal mass ejections, and solar flares can impact Earth's magnetosphere, affecting communications, power systems, spacecraft, and astronaut safety. Forecasting methods include theoretical calculations, dynamo models, and precursor methods. The precursor method uses solar activity measures to predict the strength of future solar maxima. IIA researchers found that the width of supergranular cells on the solar surface during a solar maximum is related to number of sunspots in the next solar maximum, providing a new forecasting tool. Next, about the solar cycle. A solar cycle is an approximately 11-year period during which the sun's magnetic activity fluctuates, including variation in sunspots, solar flares, and coronal mass ejections. The cycle begins with the solar minimum, a phase of a low solar activity and few sunspots, and progress the solar maximum, characterized by increased sunspot numbers and heightened solar activity. This cycle influences space weather, affecting the Earth's magnetosphere and ionosphere. Solar cycles are important for understanding space weather phenomena, which can impact satellite operations, communication systems, and even power grid on Earth. So with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2022. If a major solar storm, solar flare reaches the Earth, which of the following are possible effects on the Earth? So GPS and navigation systems could fail, tsunamis could occur at equatorial regions, power grids could be damaged, intense auroras could occur over much of the Earth, forest fires took place over much of the planet, orbits of the satellites could be distributed, shortwave radio communication of the aircraft flying over a polar regions could be interrupted. Select the correct answer using the code given below. So the answer is C. 1, 3, 4, and 6 and 7 are the correct answers. So our next topic is about center launches new AI-based surveillance system to manage pests. The Union government launched a national pest surveillance system, that is NPSS, powered by AI to help farmers manage pests by connecting them with agricultural scientists via mobile phones. This system aims to reduce pesticide misuse, improve pest control, and boost crop yields, benefiting around 14 crore farmers across India. Now, what is this National Pest Surveillance System? The NPSS is an AI-based platform launched by the government on August 15, 2024. So it is designed to help farmers connected with agricultural scientists and experts for effective pest control using their phones. It aims to reduce farmers' dependence on pesticide retailers. It provides data for selected crops, that is rice, cotton, maize, mango, and chilies. So how will farmers use it? Farmers can take photos of infested crops or pests using the NPSS platform, which are then analyzed by scientists and experts. Then they will suggest the correct quantity of the pesticide at the right time, reducing excessive pesticide use. Now, the target groups are approximately 14 crore farmers across India. Now, what are the significance seen here? It will reduce crop damage, improve pest management practices, and reduce the risk of soil damage by minimizing excessive pesticide use. So our next topic is about tantalum. So why it is in news? The central government recently notified a list of 24 minerals including tantalum in Part D of the first schedule of Mines and Minerals Development and Regulation Act, that is MMDR Act 1957, as critical and strategic minerals. So with this we have to know about tantalum. It is a rare metal with the symbol of Ta and the atomic number is 73. Raw tantalum rarely occurs in nature. Instead, it is typically found in ore columbite tantalite, usually referred to as coltan. So Democratic Republic of Congo, Rwanda, Brazil and Nigeria are the major producers. Now what are their properties? Classified as the transition metal, tantalum is a solid at room temperature. It is a shiny silvery metal with as soft with it is pure. It almost immune to chemical attacks to temperature below 150 degrees Celsius. Tantalum is visually resistant to corrosion due to an oxide film on its surface. When the pure tantalum is ductile, meaning it can be stretched, pulled or drawn into a thin wire or thread without breaking it. It belongs to the class of metals known as refractory method. Refrac refractory metal, which are defined by their strong resistance to heat and wear. It has extremely high melting point, exceeded only to the tungsten and rhenium. Now, what are the applications seen here? It is most prominently used in electronic sector. The capacitors made from tantalum are capable of storing more electricity in smaller sizes without much leakage than any other type of capacitor. This makes them ideal for use in portable electronic devices such as smartphones, laptops, and digital cameras. As tantalum has a high melting point, it is frequently used as a substitute for platinum, which is more expensive. It is also used to make components for chemical plants, nuclear power plants, aeroplanes, and missiles. It does not react with bodily fluids and is used to make surgical equipments and implants like artificial joints. A composite consisting of tantalum, carbide, and graphite is one of the hardest materials known, and it is used for cutting edges of high-speed machine tools. So with this, we have the UPSC prelims question which have been asked in 2012. Recently, there has been concern over short supply of group of elements called rare earth metals. Why? China, which is the largest producer of these elements, has imposed some restrictions on their export. Other than China, Australia, Canada, and Chile, these elements are not found in any country. Rare earth metals are essential for manufacture of various kinds of electronic items, and there is a growing demand of these elements. Which of the statement given below is correct? So the answer is C. The first and third statement is correct. Next, we'll be seeing the editorial analysis. So our editorial analysis topic is an obstinate refusal to focus on welfare. So first we have to know about the context. The article discusses the tension between profit making and social responsibility in corporate governance, particularly in AI development. It explores Challenges like privacy concerns and algorithmic biases, examining how companies like OpenAI and Anthropic are adapting alternative governance structures while questioning the sustainability of these models in a profit-driven market. So with this, we have to know about shareholder primacy and versus stakeholder approach. So traditional corporate governance has been dominated by the theory of shareholder primacy, where the main objective of business is to generate profit and create wealth for shareholders. There is a contrasting shareholder benefit approach that aims to maximize the benefit for all stakeholders, not just the shareholders. Recently, stakeholders capitalism has gained traction with corporations increasingly focusing on social objectives alongside profit making, particularly in sectors like generative artificial intelligence, that is AI. Next, the data privacy and bias issues. Developing AI technologies requires access to vast amounts of data, which raises privacy concerns. For example, Meta was asked to pass its AI model training in Europe due to concerns raised by Irish privacy regulator about using public content from Facebook and Instagram. Algorithmic biases are another significant concern where human prejudice can be embedded into AI system. Next, the governance structures and conflicts. To mitigate the risk associated with AI, some companies have altered their corporate governance structures to prioritize responsible AI development. For example, Anthropic has a governance structure called Long-Term Benefit Trust, composed of financially disinterested members who can influence broad decisions. OpenAI initially started as non-profit but later transitioned to hybrid model with a capped profit subsidiary to support its capital-intensive innovation. Next, the clash between purpose and profit, the OpenAI debacle. Even companies with alternative governance models face changes when balancing social purpose with profit making. For example, OpenAI experienced a governance crisis when its non-profit board fired CEO Sam Altman over concerns of rapid AI commercialization, compromising user safety. This move was opposed by Microsoft and most employees, leading to Altman's reinstatement and the broad replacement. This incident has led to questions about the viability of public benefit corporations in the tech industry, where financial backing from stakeholders is crucial. Now, what are all the three key areas to target include here? The three areas are incentivizing social purpose, managerial, managerial compliance, and reducing compliance cost. So these are all the key areas of the target include. Now, what is governance here? In 1993, the World Bank defined governance as the process through which a country's political, economic, and social resources are administered for its growth. Governance is the method and institutions through the decisions are made and power is exercised with the country. Governance may be employed in a variety of circumstances, including corporate governance, international governance, national government, and local governance. Consequently, governance focuses on the formal and informal players and institutions involved in decision making and decision implementation. Now, the participants in governance. Government is an important actor in governance. Other possible participants include political actors and institutions, interest groups, civil society, the media, non-governmental organizations, and transitional organizations. Other participants in governance differ according on the level of government. Generally speaking, the stakeholders of the governance at the national level may be divided into three basic categories, that is state, market, and finally the civil society. The state comprises the several government institutions, that is legislature, judiciary, and executive, and respective instrumentalities, independent accountability system, etc. It also includes several players, that is elected officials, political executives, bureaucracy, or civil workers at various levels. The market comprises the private sector, both organized and unorganized, which consists of huge corporate houses and small size industries and establishments. Next, finally, the civil society is the most diversified and often consists of all organizations not included in or next, the non-governmental organizations, that is NGOs, voluntary organizations, media organization or association, trade unions, religious groups, pressure groups, etc. are included. There are several important aspects of governance that are relevant to UPSC CSC, that is civil service exams in India. They include rule of law, separation of powers, transparency, accountability, responsiveness, participation, inclusiveness, efficient and effective service delivery, social justice, and environmental sustainability. Now, what is the corporate governance here? Corporate governance is a set of rules and process that guide how a company is managed and overseen. It is vital for ensuring that business operate ethically and in the best interest of those involved. A primary goal of corporate governance is to prevent corporate greed and promote responsible and transparent business practices. By establishing and enforcing high ethical standards and holding individuals accountable for their actions, corporate governance serves as a safeguard against misconduct, protecting the interests of shareholders, customers, and their wider community. Now, what are the principles of corporate governance? Their principles are fairness, transparency, risk management, responsibility, and accountability. Now, what are the four participants in governance of corporate governance? So, their participants are people, sorry, the P's are people, purpose, process, and practice. These are the four P's in corporate governance. What are the people, purpose, process, and practices? So these are the four P's seen in corporate governance. So with this, we'll be seeing the international organization topic, that is Group of Seven. So this Group of Seven is an intergovernmental organization that was formed in 1975. The bloc meets annually to discuss issues of common interest like global economic governance, international security, and energy policy. All the G7 countries and India are the part of G20. The G7 does not have the formal character or a secretariat. The presidency, which rotates among the member countries each year, in a charge of setting this agenda. Sherpas, ministers, and envoys hammer out policy initiatives before the summit. The 49th G7 summit was held in Hiroshima, Japan. The European Union is not a sovereign member state. Instead, it is a unique supranational organization. As a result, the EU is considered a non-emirated member and does not hold the G7 presidency. The G7 country names listed below. They are Germany, Canada, France, United States, United Kingdom, Italy, and Japan. So these are all the G7 nations. Now, what are the aim of this Group 7? G7 countries aim to discuss topics including energy policy, international security, and the global economic control. The G7 takes the lead globally and it is powerful catalyst and issues above. The G7 digital trade principles are: it ran on October 22, 2021. The G7 countries adopted the digital trade principles. The digital trade principles include fair and inclusive global governance, open digital market, cross-border data flows, safeguard for consumers, workers, and enterprises, and the digital trading platforms. Next, the headquarters of G7. The G7 operates without a formal treaty and lacks a permanent secretariat or office. Instead, it functions under the rotating presidency system with the member states taking turns to hold presidency each year. Next, what are the overview of this G7? It is a forum for open discussion among policymakers, leaders, and ministers. G7 provides global leadership and acts as a potent catalyst for topics and global leaders and regional members eventually take up. The world's industrialized economies come together as G7 member countries address widespread challenges and shape global trends. The G7 was pushed the debate on important global topics, including gender equality and climate change, brought together donors and backed disarmament projects. It also reinforced international economic and security policy. Even every year, member nations in the following order rotate hosting G7 presidency: the France, the United States, United Kingdom, Germany, Japan, Italy, and Canada. The rotation excludes the European Union. Next, the G7 countries and their GDP ranking. According to the summit data, G7 nations will account for 10% of the worldwide population in 2022 and 31% of global GDP and 21% of global carbon dioxide emissions. China and India, the two most populous nations in the world with some of the highest GDP estimates, are excluded from the grouping. In 2021, yearly public sector spending will be more than revenue in all G7 nations. The majority of G7 nations also have significant levels of gross debt, including the US 133%, Japan 263 percentage of GDP, and Italy with 151 percentage of GDP. The G7 nations are significant participants in world trade. Significant exporting nations are Germany and the US. In 2021, both companies exported well over trillion of US dollars. So that's all from our topic today. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow our YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.